I'm Shiva.
I'm Sandy.
And this is
Our Relaxing Hobby. Hello.
Hi.
This evening we're going to talk a little bit about overcrowding.
Overcrowding and undersizing.
Okay, yeah. Or oversizing, however you want to look at it.
Yeah. Specifically for the carp, like the larger fish.
Yeah, we're
like
going to talk
the
the koi and the goldfish. Yeah, we're going to talk a little about them because you can get overcrowding in the smaller tanks. It's just a little bit. The smaller fish, it is just a little bit easier to maintain.
Yeah, but it's just
a little bit less important.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't realize how big and how much room that each fish needs. And I'm also going to dispel a few myths while we're at it, because I've heard all kinds of crazy equations and rules of thumb that just
let me sink down. She was getting on her soapbox.
Yes, I am. I will be getting on my soapbox. This episode there will be soapboxing.
Yes.
But I guess I'll start out with that, and then we'll talk.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about our cute little rescue mission first, and then we'll go in. Then you can go on your soapbox because your soapbox can be the end.
Well, no,
they can tune out.
It's to be able to explain why we had to do the rescue mission.
Okay, yeah, we had to do a rescue mission, just so you know. We had to rescue 3 fish, which I think we have some video of.
Yes,
if not, I'll get some.
And I think we posted a fish bite about it too, the rescue mission.
Okay.
But basically, when it comes to especially koi and goldfish, they're what we call dirty fish, which means they produce a lot of waste and a lot of ammonia. Now, I have heard all kinds of formulas, like you need 100 gallons per inch of fish, which I'm sorry, that sounds like bullshit to me. I've also heard you have to have 100 gallons per fish, which doesn't pass the smell test again for me. But when it comes to how large your fish are and what kind of a water area you have, that is where I start going, okay, yeah, we have to watch that.
Yeah, and it does matter for the big fish. Like I said, the little fish, I think it's like an inch for every gallon is what they recommend. Yeah. But bigger fish is a little different.
Right.
And it's
now, when I'm talking about things that I call bullshit on, it's because they're forgetting about some variables.
Right.
Like we have a 1,000-gallon indoor koi pond that holds 30 adult koi.
Right.
Now,
well, 29 koi and 1 goldfish.
Well, no. 30
koi and 1 goldfish.
2 goldfish.
2 goldfish.
Patches and
that's right. Okay, that's right. We have 2.
So 32 fish, 32 carp in this 1,000-gallon aquarium.
Right. So in theory,
that means that a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh my God, you're killing your fish." Okay.
Have you seen our fish?
First of all, have you seen our fish?
Yeah.
Second of all, the one thing that people keep forgetting about is we calculate for that when it comes to our filtration system.
Right.
Our water is crystal clear. It recirculates at least 4 times an hour, closer to 5. Mm-hmm. We have 4 waterfalls going for aeration. We have huge subs.
Live plants.
We've got live plants. We've got a lot of live plants in there to suck up the nitrates. We have 2 sump areas.
Right.
So it can handle
easily. It has no problem. I mean, you never, even when she empties the water once a week, once every 2 weeks.
About once every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I do
even when she doesn't,
change.
it's not necessarily because it's just to be safe.
Yeah.
It's not even because there's too much ammonia.
It's just basically I just
basic
do it
maintenance.
as a matter
just
of
a
routine.
precaution. Yeah.
And I don't even do it as much out with the outdoor ponds because with precipitation and everything, it does it itself.
Right.
Normally, I'm just topping off water from evaporation, like I have to do tonight because I've evaporated about 2 or 3 inches from the top. But my point is that when it comes to how big of a pond you need, a lot of it has to do with how long your fish are rather than how many you have in there. As long I could probably put another 10 fish in there, be fine, as long as I keep my filtration. I'd rather not, but I'm just saying, if we ended up having to rescue another 10 fish, I could do that. I would just have to up my filtration. It means putting a stronger pump in there and having it recirculate about 6 times an hour instead of 3.5.
Yeah.
But when it comes to how large your fish are, here's where we run into the problems.
Right.
Like right now, mine can handle. Let's see, our longest one is Sushi, who's about 2 feet long.
Yeah.
She can easily turn corners, no problem.
Right.
She can
there's nowhere for her to get stuck.
Right.
She can still swim freely. Mm-hmm. It's about the free swimming. You don't want to get it to the point where they can't turn.
You don't want to get them cramped. Now, I've gone to certain Japanese chain restaurants that will go unnamed. basically what happened was we went out to dinner once in a major city, and they had in the hallway or the waiting room, they had this long, and it looked like a lap pool, almost very shallow.
Very shallow, very narrow.
Very narrow. And they had these giant
They're
koi, like almost
pretty,
3-foot koi.
but yeah.
They weren't healthy though, and
Right, they weren't healthy,
turn
yeah.
around.
They couldn't
So
even turn because it was so narrow. They could not. They barely had enough water over their heads,
Yeah.
and they had the hardest time turning around. They literally had
Yeah,
to force the turn.
Yeah, I think the water was about 8 inches deep, which was too shallow for them.
Yeah.
They could not turn. They had to do these like
Yeah.
5-point turns to get around.
Yeah, it was very uncomfortable to watch.
Oh my
for
God, I
us.
watched that and then I went off.
Yeah.
I went off on the manager.
Yeah, there's
I
no
went
reason.
off
There
on
was no reason for
corporate.
that. I mean, if you know, worse, they could have had goldfish
And
in
they
there. They
had
would
way
have.
too many of them.
Yeah.
They had about, I'd say, 20 fish in that.
Yeah.
And so they had a very, very bad overcrowded situation with large fish that could not swim properly, turn around in their environment. It was just a nightmare.
Right.
So you can put more fish in than you think, but you have to, you know, I didn't even see much filtration in that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It was
Yeah.
clear, so I'm assuming there was.
Yeah, it was clear, but I don't know if that means that they just changed
They may
the
have-
water every day.
Yeah, they may have changed the water. They may have medicated the water. Who knows? But yeah, we
Yeah.
weren't happy. She was not happy.
Oh no, I went off. But my point is that you can put more fish in a pond than would be, you know, recommended.
As long as your
As long
filtration
as
is
your
amazing.
filtration's amazing.
Which we've talked many times about filtration, so I'm sure they all know about that.
Right. In fact,
and
in
if
one
not,
of our recent,
comment.
or one of our past episodes, we talked about the big black box we built,
Right.
which is what we use for the koi pond.
Right. And actually, you just built
And-
another one for the goldfish pond, a smaller version.
I'm gonna be building another one too.
yeah.
Because I threw a slapdash together one real quick
Right.
using
Just
a big
to kind
heavy
of clear
tub.
out the goldfish pond. She thought it was getting a little bit too not clear.
Yeah, but I'll be
And now it's
building-
crystal clear. You can see all the way to the bottom.
But I'm going to be building another one, and I will
Right.
actually remember to have
Film it
you
this
film,
time? Yeah.
have you film
Imagine
it,
that.
putting it
We
together.
never remember.
Well, this time I will. I mean, I have all the components. I'm going to be using like a big cooler this time
Okay.
because that can hold a lot more water and won't bow out.
Right.
But that's
yeah.
my point is that
Right.
you know
Just
when it
filtration,
comes to
filtration,
overcrowding,
filtration. And
plants.
and plants and size of the fish versus the depth of the water and the size
the
of the
size
pond
of
where
the
they can
pond.
turn. Those are things you got
Right.
to consider.
So now
That's-
we can talk about the 3 we rescued
Yeah.
and why we had to rescue
Right.
them.
Well, we had a friend that contacted me, and she said that she has another friend, an older lady that had some koi, and that she'd had them for several years, and she realized that they were getting a little bit too small for the pond they were in. It was
Not
one of
too
those
big for the pond.
too big for the pond. They were in they were in one of those preformed ponds.
Yeah, about a 75, 80
Yeah,
gallon.
yeah.
preformed
And
pond.
so we, of course, you know, being who we are, we rushed over there to see, and yes, these poor things couldn't even hardly turn
yeah,
around.
they were about a foot long
Each one of them was almost a foot long, and they could turn, but it was uncomfortable, and the depth of it was not good. She was smart enough. She had a good filtration in there,
Yeah,
and she did cover it at night so that the raccoons and such couldn't get to them.
right.
So
but
she
it
did
was
protect them, but they were uncomfortable, and she even recognized they were uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
she did the right thing. She contacted somebody for help. So we went and took them, caught them up, and brought them back here and quarantined them for a few days.
We gave her 2 young
And we gave her
goldfish.
2 young goldfish, so she can have those. They'll be in there for quite a while. They'll never get. Well, they might get big
They
enough.
might get too
but-
big if they're like patches type
Yeah.
size, but
Most
of them
goldfish
won't.
don't get as big. But yeah, so we gave her a couple of those colorful ones so she could,
Yeah.
have something. So, but anyways, it was the smart thing for her to do. But she did. I'll give her credit. She did keep them clean. She did have the good filtration. She did
Yes.
cover them at night to protect them.
Yeah,
She had
'cause
some
they
plants in
wouldn't- Yeah,
there.
because they wouldn't have survived otherwise.
Right, and they survived they were 5. She
Yeah,
said
they were 5 years old.
They were 5 years old, and she had their parents, and the parents died during a hurricane, but the babies lived, and then the babies were 5 years old. So
Right. But again, she was
But again,
able
she-
to keep them in that small
yeah.
tank
Which-
because she had amazing
But
filtration.
she also noticed that the filtration was amazing. She noticed they were getting unhappy. She noticed that they were not swimming as much, that they were becoming very lethargic because they just couldn't move around comfortably. So she recognized the signs and immediately took action. Well, not maybe immediately, I don't know how long it took her, but
Yeah.
she at least took care of
Found
them.
it.
She
Well,
tried.
she-
She found somebody
she
to take
found
care of
us,
them. She was
so.
looking for someone. She asked for advice. Our friend just happened to know us. But anyway, if you have any comments, questions, like, subscribe, share, buy,
Yeah. We got shirts.
Oh, that's
and-
right. You got it.
Yes, I've got my no bowls.
no bowl shirt that she's.
Yes, this one says, "Do I look
Yeah.
like a fucking minnow?"
Yeah.
And
Nice.
yeah,
Nice. Mine doesn't say any of that. Mine.
Yeah, let's plug our no bowls campaign.
Yeah. I have a no bowl shirt. I should buy one, I guess.
Yeah, you should.
I should get one.
Yeah, now you're slacking.
Yeah, I'm slacking.
Yeah, just you've probably heard us talk about it before, or at least seen our little commercial. But our no bowls campaign has everything to do with these idiots that put like little comet goldfish in fish bowls.
Yeah.
And
With no
with
aeration,
no aeration,
filtration,
no filtration.
and then wonder why they die in a week.
Not even a week.
Yeah, no wonder why they die.
in a couple days. And so we've got a no bowls thing. We do not keep goldfish or carp in fish bowls. And betas aren't too terribly happy with those little bowls either, just so you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. We have. I mean,
Yeah,
if you
we
saw.
do have two designs. We've
if
got
you-
the goldfish and the betas.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you saw how spoiled Shiva's betas are, well, I mean, I'm sure they've
Well,
seen.
Some of them are yours too.
Yeah, well, I mean,
like our
I was talking
sorority
about
one. Oh, you're talking about
Slipnir. Slipnir.
Yeah.
He's a little spoiled over there.
No, Slipnir's pretty new for us. I mean, unfortunately, I did lose Hod
Yeah.
last month, and that was sad because
Yeah.
Hod had all these little panda cories that he was,
They were his babies.
Yeah, he was like daddy to them.
Yeah.
So the cories were all lost. Like, what do? We don't have a beta. Tell us, what would you do? So I thought, okay, I'll go get another male beta. And I was at a pet store that had the male betas in like these little cups of water, and most of them were just all lethargic, just
Yeah, they just
sitting
lay
there.
around.
They might
very
as well
low
look
personality.
dead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then this one was just like, hi, hello, hi.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that one, it has some personality. I want that one.
Yeah.
I put him, so he went from being in a little cube of water to a 15-gallon tank with the panda cories,
Yeah.
who he loves.
Yeah.
I was actually glad. I was a little worried because we have had, between the two of us, we've had betas that would try to kill things, but
Yeah.
he's really chill, and he's a veintail beta, which aren't exactly my favorite types, but I'll take personality over type any day of the week.
Right.
And when he's swimming, he looks like he's got like a bunch of legs, so I named him Slipnir after Odin's horse, who had 8 legs.
She did.
Well, yeah, and nobody but me and Garrett can pronounce the fish's
Yeah, so
name,
I call him Sippy.
and my mother calls him Slip.
I call him Sip, and then we have Sip and
Yep, Bunyip.
Sip and Blip over there. But
Yeah,
anyway.
I don't know.
I'm horrible with
why-
these names.
I don't know why nobody can pronounce the names of some of my fish. I mean, it's only, Nordic.
Yeah, only.
Only Norse.
Anyway, but if you have any comments, questions, like, subscribe, share, buy the T-shirts. Don't use a bowl.
Yeah, don't use a bowl, please.
And
please.
and if you ever have any issues where you'd like to get some ideas, if you know somebody that has fish that are in two-crowded situations or anything, we'd be happy to give you some advice. If you're close enough to us, we'll come get them because we're just those people.
Yeah, we are.
But
one of these days, we're gonna have to do a whole show on transporting fish.
yeah, you
because
think we
fun.
would have videotaped when we saved those fish, but
No,
no, we
of
didn't even
course
think of
not.
it until we got back home. We're like, oh,
Yeah, we'll
oops.
have to.
Yeah, one of these days we'll probably save somebody else's fish.
Talk to you about how to transport fish safely, because it doesn't take a lot of equipment and
Yeah.
timing and coordination, and
Yeah, it was funny. It was like a whole rescue mission. But you have a good evening.
Yep, and we will see you next time.
Yep. Bye bye.
Bye.